Honestly, sometimes I buy figures because they're good updates to ones I had as a kid. And sometimes I buy some figures because I didn't have them as a kid. That's the case with Two Bad. I never had him as a kid. I thought he looked stupid. I never had any version of Two Bad. Here's the reason why. The original one had that arms on the shoulder thing that so that he could punch himself in the face. I just thought it was stupid. I thought it looked stupid. Later renditions were better, but I would never get the opportunity to catch those, so I just didn't even try. And then this one came up as a deluxe, and I was like, okay, maybe now I can get a Two Bad in my collection, because it's a character I did want. It's just I never felt like they really hit the mark with it. So how does this one do? Well, let's look him over. Of course, he has accessories. He has fist hands. He's got a gun. I don't ever remember him having a gun, but okay. Mace. Another mace. A shield. I like this double axe. It looks cool. I'll talk about it later. And, of course, grippy hands. I put the fist hands on him first because I wanted to go in for his signature move of punching himself in the face. Can he do it? No. He cannot punch himself in the face. Why? Okay. I'm just going to make this gripe. I do have a gripe about the fact that, his one half of his body's taller than the other. I never remember that in anything ever about Two Bad. And it's weird to me. Why is that like that? I know the story behind it. I know how they became Two Bad. And I really thought it was an origin that never needed to be told. Because it was just weird enough to work, and you just let your imagination come up with an explanation if you wanted one. I never wanted one. I just thought of Two Bad as a two-headed giant and moved on. Except he was a normal sized guy. I mean, that's the way I viewed him. And the origin story kind of made me confused. And I'm going, wait a minute, there should be. But now, on to some stuff. He looks good for the most part. That right arm, I can't get any of the weapons into it. And it's because it's very stiff plastic. And that's kind of a disappointment because I was hoping to, pose him with two weapons and and like that. And I could probably heat it up and that'll make it work. But, I'm not going to do that for the review here. Also on the back, it looks like he has a place to hold his axe. Again, I couldn't fit the axe in there in any way, shape, or form. It's probably another thing I'm going to have to heat up to do. He's not the figure's not cold at all, by the way. It's 70 degrees in my house, so that's not the issue. It's not that it's too cold. It's just, the plastic is a little too rigid for what it's made for. So, yeah, I do like that the texture of the skin is different from blue to purple. I am not going to name these two the names they were given canonically. I just don't like it. But still, there's enough taking away from here that I'm a bit more than just a little disappointed. Especially since this is my first Two Bad that I've actually gotten in my hands. I had a Two Bad in my comic shop, the original one, and of course sold it through the comic shop way back in the early 2000s. So I've seen Two Bad before. I've just never owned one. So this is kind of disappointing to me, being the first Two Bad I've ever actually owned. And I had, to this point, thought Masterverse was pretty freaking phenomenal and was hitting it out of the park every damn time. And this is the first one where I'm like, no, you kind of fouled on this one. If you could have done the articulation where they could have hit themselves in the head, and there's a dozen ways they could have done that. Truth be told, the sockets just don't extend right. And, you know, again, there's ways to do it. We've seen it done with other figure lines. So, you know, and I'm not talking butterfly joints necessarily either. I mean, it could be done with regular joints just the same. We've seen it done. If you could have pulled that off and not had the issue with the weapons and the hand, I would have felt better about it. I don't want to shit all over this figure, so, you know, let me take a moment to look at a few things. Like the head sculpts are great. Those are fantastic. And I mean, I think those are magical in their own right. And again, you know, in this close-up picture, you can see so clearly the line and the different texture of the skins. That's just really phenomenal. So I really like that. The double-bladed axe is one of my favorite weapons. I just think it looks cool. It's so them. It's what they should be wielding in battle. I mean, and it looks fantastic. It looks like a great update, and I'm over the moon on that. That part's great. But again, there's one other gripe I have, is he is a little top heavy. He's hard to stand up. He fell over on me a lot during this filming. A tremendous amount, and I realized very early on it's the top. It's his top, because there's so much more going on there. Is heavier than the rest of him, and he just keeps toppling over. It's the Sergeant Slaughter effect from G.I. Joe Classified. The exact same thing happens with Sergeant Slaughter, so that's a little disappointing. So, I mean, in light of all that, you know, I like the figure, but there's so many flaws. I gotta go with 2.5 stars, because this, you know, as good as this figure is, it shouldn't have these flaws dragging it down. That's just my thoughts on it. This is your fault. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Yeah, it's your fault. No, it's everybody's fault. Damn top heavy. Thank you for watching Infinite Realms. Don't forget to like and subscribe.